السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Brothers and sisters, as the khutbahs will be shortened for the time being because we don't want to run into the next Jummah and affect that until we get things organized and stabilized. So they'll be shorter, so I might have to carry over some previous week's khutbah. And also maybe the khutbah will be like short reminders so that if we're running out of time we can cut it short. Today I wanted to give a few reminders that of course their benefit is general for our life, for our family, etc. But after giving the general kind of lesson or reminder, these are specific to our urgent goal of reopening the masjid. So I'll tie it in why I'm giving these reminders, once again, for general benefit, but specifically I chose them so that we can get the necessary support to reopen the masjid as quickly as possible, just as some background. To start off, brothers and sisters, we know that Rasulullah ﷺ said, "Man lam yashkurin nasa, lam yashkurillah." That Rasulullah ﷺ said, whoever is not thankful, whoever does not thank the people, does not thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I wanted to start by saying Jazakumullah khairan to each and every one of you, brothers and sisters, for cooperating, and during this this time where there's so many restrictions. And alhamdulillah, I can see that you're all cooperating, you're all reading the emails carefully, and you're following the instructions. Alhamdulillah, this makes it easier for us and gives us the motivation and the confidence to proceed further. So because of this hadith, it's very important, as I said, to thank each and every one of you. And of course, a special thanking to our volunteers who are once again dedicating themselves, and the increased number of volunteers who are helping us. We just got news also that we can pray outside, and alhamdulillah, we have volunteers standing outside in the sun. And we appreciate you cooperating with them, because if you cooperate with them, that makes their job easier, and they will want to continue, inshallah. So, brothers and sisters, back to the hadith, that of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, if we don't thank the people, we don't thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one point is related to last week, actually, that we need to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as possible, because of the ayah that we went over last week, وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. And your Lord proclaimed, if you give thanks, certainly I will give you more. So we want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us more and more. Of course, what does He give more? If we thank Him, is He gives us more blessings. Whether that's in the form of relief from a test, as we were talking last week. And how is the way to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? To make more ibadah to Him, and to be obedient to Him. So in other words, any kind of good deeds, So if we thank people, this is thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's in keeping it's in line with what this ayah is requiring to do. So if we thank each other, inshallah, okay, we are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase the blessings for us. Point number 2, brothers and sisters, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting motivation for us, encouraging us to thank people, so that, that will be, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in need of nothing. He doesn't need anything, let alone to be thanked. He doesn't need that. It's for our benefit to do that. So why is He doing that? What's the hikmah? What is the wisdom behind this, brothers and sisters? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best all the wisdom, but some we can understand that if we thank others, brothers and sisters, it's a gesture of kindness, as we know. This is obvious. It makes a good impression if we thank, the society in general, if somebody helps us. It's a good form of da'wah. And brothers and sisters, if we thank each other, our spouses, our children, our relatives, what does that do, brothers and sisters? It generates good feelings. This is something that we should make a habit, actually. It generates good feelings. In who does it generate good feelings? Obviously, the person we thank. If we thank one of the volunteers, if we thank somebody who opened the door for us, okay, if we thank a family member, it makes them feel good too, obviously. But who else makes feel good? It makes us feel good. I'm sure when you thank somebody, appreciate somebody, whoever it is, it makes you feel good as well. So brothers and sisters, what does that good feeling lead to? It's a chain reaction, a good chain reaction. If we have good feelings towards each other, if this is one of the things that we can generate good feelings with, and there's so many things we can do, I'm just discussing one. We generate these good feelings, what does it do? It generates good relationships amongst ourselves, our families, and amongst each other, even we're not related. And if it does that, brothers and sisters, good relation, what does that lead to? It leads to true brotherhood, true brotherly love, true sisterhood, true unity. If we have good brotherhood, good sisterhood, then we have real unity that we're all wishing and longing for. But it takes these practical steps. So brothers and sisters, the reminder to myself, all of us, is to thank each other. Make it a strong habit. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, however, I must point out, sometimes we thank others, strangers, more often and more sincerely than we thank our own, meaning our own relatives, maybe our own spouse, our own parents, our own children. Sometimes we do that. Maybe it's because we think it's not necessary. These are our family. They know we love them, okay? Or we think it's awkward or something like that. But brothers and sisters, let us not think like that. Because the shaitan will use every single opportunity, big and small, to cause problems for us. So you never know that, we see us thanking and being so nice with strangers, non-relatives, and not being good with our own relatives and thanking them. Maybe our relatives, and especially our close family members, may resent that because of the deception of shaitan. So, because I wanted to thank you for, I felt so good that, alhamdulillah, our community is cooperating so nicely. I said, let me share this hadith and try to extend it more and get as much lesson as possible. The next point, brothers and sisters, is about mutual cooperation. As we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, cooperate with one another in goodness and righteousness. And do not cooperate in sin and transgression. And be mindful of Allah. Surely Allah is severe in punishment. So brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about cooperation, mutual cooperation, cooperating with each other in all righteous and goodness, whether inward or outward, whether it's related to rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like doing salah, or the rights of others, like helping one of our brothers or sisters who are in need. It applies to all of that. And helping each other to have taqwa, meaning to avoid all the evil, whether inward or outward. So we do this, the ayah is asking us to do this for ourselves, of course. To have taqwa and to do righteousness. But it's saying about helping each other, brothers and sisters. To do everything and motivate and encourage each other to do good. Whether it's for our children, motivating our children, giving them good tarbiyah, or giving a brother or a sister some nasiha, or serving food in the month of Ramadan, for people to have their iftar with, or reminding someone to give sadaqah, or driving someone, taking someone who can't walk, maybe they use a cane, and picking them up and bringing them for the salah, for Salatul Jummah. All these things the list is endless, of course. These are just few examples, brothers and sisters. So this is not a recommendation, brothers and sisters. This is not a recommendation. This is a strict command. If we read the ayah, we see that it's a strict command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us to cooperate with each other. So brothers and sisters, as I said, I wanted to give general reminder and then make it specific to our urgent goal of reopening the masjid. So what about, brothers and sisters, if we cooperate together to reopen the masjid together so that we can pray salah together in greater and greater numbers, 1 salah, 2 salah, 3 salah, then all the salah, inshallah, if we work together to keep it open, brothers and sisters, to remember Allah, to increase the number of brothers and sisters coming. Imagine the reward for all of this, brothers and sisters. So we really need this, brothers and sisters. Why? Because we need to add more of the salah. As I said, we need to add a 4th Jummah, inshallah. I think we have the time for it in this season. We can accommodate another 100 or so brothers and sisters, inshallah. We did not get the volunteers in time. The response wasn't as we expected. That's why I'm bringing up these issues and these reminders. So please, if you can, email us. We would like to have another Jummah. It's summertime. The day is long, and we can accommodate even more brothers and sisters. We want to do that for our community. Brothers and sisters, a reminder about cooperation from another angle. If we register ourselves to attend, what happened last week, in each salah we had about 10 openings, 10 brothers who had registered, but they didn't come. Indeed, some they called. Even one brother called now. But the thing is, brothers and sisters, we can't fill the space. How are we going to call somebody who's interested to come their space? Or how are we going to tell? We only know that we had 10 spots at the end of the event. We don't know who's coming, who's going to come. Maybe they're coming late, whatever it is. Now, emergencies happen, brothers and sisters. Maybe we get a flat tire or something like that. Emergencies happen, but they're rare. So, brothers and sisters, we have to think about it. This is against mutual cooperation. That we would register, okay? Take up a spot, it's reserved for you, and it's reserved and it's sitting there empty for that Jummah. And meanwhile, just for your information, there are so many brothers and sisters who could not make it for the Jummah. Maybe they had to try another masjid, whatever it is. Or they couldn't get from any masjid, they're all booked. So this is the opposite of mutual cooperation. So let us be careful of that. That's why we sent the email. Please, try your best. Emergencies happen, but let us not make it so that we're registering for all three, because we could get into all three, just reserve a spot, and then we come at our convenience. What about the other two? It's going to sit empty. What about that brother sitting at home, sister sitting at home, cannot come when they could have? So this is also part of mutual cooperation, this consideration for each other. The other thing, brothers and sisters, and actually I was sensitive about this, there were some suggestions. Actually, I went and I called one of my teachers just to be sure. So the suggestion was, good suggestion is, that why don't we rotate the attendance? You know, if you had a chance to come this week, why not skip a Jummah, ask the people to skip a Jummah, in case nobody is like so fast on the computer they can register themselves and they're never getting a spot. So I asked a sheikh about this actually. He said, this is a good idea. You should do that. You should organize it. We don't want a big portion of the community not having any chance week after week after week. It's better that everybody gets a chance on a rotational basis. So we're just going to leave it as honor system for now, brothers and sisters. Honor system. That if you came, try to give others a chance. Okay? Try to give others a chance. As I said, I confirm this because I didn't want to be, suggesting something asking people to miss their Jummah, okay, on purpose. I didn't want to do that. So we're very cautious about these things. So the Shaykh said, no problem. Actually, it's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to do. Let the people, other people, join in and have their chance as well. So brothers and sisters, if you can do that. We don't know if skipping one is enough, but we can try that. Try that, inshallah, if you can. Okay? And then we'll get some feedback if people are getting in and it's going well for, the community that we serve, then, we don't need to do more than that, inshallah. So brothers and sisters, speaking about service and cooperation. You never know what will have more reward. I have a story for you that Anas, he narrated, radiallahu anh, he said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his companions went on a journey. And during the journey, some of the companions were fasting while others were not fasting. So what happened, the ones that were fasting on the journey, because it's difficult to be on a journey in the heat, etc., the ones that were fasting became very weak. And they couldn't do the chores for their own selves, let alone for each other. They couldn't help each other. They couldn't help their own selves, like even cooking some food. They got so weak because they were fasting. But some of the companions were not fasting. So the ones that were not fasting actually served the ones that were fasting, took all their, their daily needs in terms of cooking the food, serving them the food, whatever else was required. That's what they did. So what did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say about the situation? He said, ذهب المفطرون اليوم بالأجر. He said, those who were not fasting took all of the reward today. And the Mufassirin, they explained that this was a statement, an exaggerated statement to demonstrate that those who did not fast possibly received even more reward than those who were fasting. So this is, about cooperation and helping each other. Those who were not fasting, they helped those who were fasting and they got a reward. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best how much it is. And according to scholars, it could have been even more. So cooperation. Serving. Last week's khutbah, I mentioned about how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his life in two parts, doing his personal ibadah, but such a big portion of his life serving others, serving the community. So let us get into this habit, brothers and sisters. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, just one final point about good deeds. The best good deeds are the ones that are consistent, brothers and sisters. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Iklafu min al-amal ma tutiqun fa inna khayra al-amali adwamuhu wa in qalla." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, take up good deeds only as much as you are able, for the best deeds are those done regularly, even if they are few. In a hadith Bukhari, it says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do good deeds properly, sincerely and moderately, and know that your deeds will not make you enter Al-Jannah, and that the most beloved deeds to Allah is the most beloved deed to Allah is the most regular and constant, even if it is a little. So brothers and sisters, the hadith is not necessarily saying that the deeds have to be little. What it's saying is do what is manageable for you. And once you take that on, whatever is manageable for you, stick to it and do not let it stop. Keep it constant and regular. Some of the scholars, the nawafil that are rawatib, the ones that, that are muakkada, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do, the 2 before Fajr, the 4 before Dhuhr, the 2 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib, 2 after Isha, the rawatib, okay? Some scholars, you read in the books that says if you leave those, it's sinful. But you say, but it's a nafil. How could it be sinful? It's not wajib. What the scholars mean by explaining it further, they mean if you're in the habit of doing those, then you never stop. You shouldn't stop unless there's a good reason, you're sick or something, you're traveling, whatever it is, okay, or you're kind of tired that day, you miss once in a while, but you should not miss. What they're saying is, it is, in this case, you don't let yourself go from a level of good deeds and ibadah, and never let yourself drop down from that level, whatever it is. So let us maintain a certain level, whatever it is, and then, brothers and sisters, inshallah, once we get it into the habit, okay, it will grow for us by itself, inshallah. Teach our children that way. Okay, even when it's not wajib on them, maybe the fasting and their salah, get them to do one salah and keep it regular. Inshallah, they'll increase it on their own. They'll get into the habit, inshallah. So for ourselves as well, and why am I mentioning this, brothers and sisters, is because we need this consistent good deed. Even if you can only help once a week. But if you do it once a week, we're relaxed. We become relaxed that this person is so dedicated, so reliable. We don't have to worry. At this time, this day of the week, he is going to be here, or she is going to be here. We're relaxed about this. We don't have to call them. We don't have to follow up. We know that this task is done. It helps us a lot, brothers and sisters. So there's wisdom, many wisdoms, for the person who's doing the deed and the person who may be receiving that good deed. Whoever we may be helping, we know that the person who needs help will be able to depend on their helper. So let us, brothers and sisters, try to do that, because it's easy to get excited. I've seen this, doing this for a long time, alhamdulillah. Involved in masajid, I see this a lot. We get excited, okay? Whether it's to volunteer, for a week or 2 weeks, we get tired, whatever it is, get busy, whatever you want to call it, okay? The shaitan comes to us. Why are you helping? Don't you have better things to do? Don't you have more important things to do? Why don't you go help your family? All this kind of stuff. Or whether it's learning, our classes start, full, packed, okay? Within a few weeks, the numbers have gone down. Let us not be of those who get excited for a short time. It's easy to get excited and want to do a lot, and we do a lot, we get tired of it, and then we go to zero. So the hadith is reminding take us, do good deeds. Help, but do it consistently, whatever you can manage. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to these few words. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد. اللهم صل على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى سائر أصحابه والتابعين وعلى عبادك الصالحين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم ثبتنا على الإسلام. اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور الإيمان. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. عباد الله اذكروا الله يذكركم واستغفروه يغفر لكم. وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استوت راسه. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء نحوا. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى. ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى. سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة. يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.